Hey, I'm Lee from the Play Guitar Podcast. Today I'm bringing you part 2 of my series on rhythm guitar. Last time I went over the biggest struggles that most have with rhythm guitar, the actual rhythm part. And today I'm bringing you 3 great rhythm guitar exercises for beginners. So stay tuned. Hey, thanks for joining me today. How to play rhythm guitar for beginners. Not knowing where to start is a very common problem these days. We have an enormous amount of information available at a moment's notice, anytime you want, but you got to search for it. And trying to learn something when you don't really know what you need, that's a big problem for the average person. You want to learn a song, you search for the song, and you've got it in front of you, all the numbers right in a row, but it rarely sounds like the song you're trying to play. There's a problem. Even though the exact notes and chords are spelled out right in front of you, the chance of it sounding anything close to the intended song when you're first starting out is very low. And that's because tablature assumes something. We talked about this in the last video. It assumes you already know your way around the guitar and understand how to figure out the rhythms from the song. It doesn't pay attention to the rhythms. So getting into playing some tablatures at first is kind of putting the cart before the horse. If you're just starting out, I've got a better place to start. Some place where you can build a strong rhythmic foundation right now. We're going to take 2 open position chords, C and G, probably the first chords that you learned. And we're going to make an exercise, actually 3 exercises that you can start building on today to improve your rhythm. We are going to focus on C and G. I'd like you to strum the first time the C chord 4 times at the speed of 80 beats per minute. Okay, I've got my old-timey metronome here. Let me see if I can get that in the shot there. I'm going to set it for 80 beats per minute. And we're going to go ahead and start this. There's around 80. The reason I use this old-timey one is very easy to see. Great for video. So then I'd like you to strum the C chord 4 times, 1 on each beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? After we do that, we're going to switch. We're going to go back to, we're going to go to the G chord and play that 4 times. And we're going to go back to C for 4 and then G for 4 over and over again. And I want you to use all downstrokes. Every time we play on the beat, it's going to be a downstroke. Okay, let's try that. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, there's mine. What if you tried it? What happened? Was it perfect? Well, if it wasn't perfect, let me stop this. I can guess what the problem was. It was probably the changing of the chords. The first C, it sounded probably pretty good, but when you changed to the G, you may have started to hear an offset. Each strum might have been delayed a little bit from the beat. Let me show you what I mean by that. So you may have started like this, and then we switched to the G. Did you hear that offset? That right when things started to get off the beat. Each strum was delayed a little bit from the beat. And when you realize that, you may have tried to get back on the beat. And then what happened? Well, what you were playing were quarter notes. And they're the notes that occur on the beat. And you were playing the notes on the beat with all downstrokes. That's good form. But when you went to the new chord, it wasn't quite ready yet. You may not have had enough planning before you move to the chord. And you're thinking, why would I need to plan ahead? I'm just going to the next chord. I didn't know I was supposed to plan ahead. But that's right. You need to plan ahead for each chord. Here's the reason, and it's an important one. It takes time to change chords. Well, you might be thinking, I already knew that, Captain Obvious. You might be surprised at how many guitar players, they know changing chords takes time, but they don't give themselves enough time to change the chords. and making sure you hit that chord 1, 2, 3 on the beat. If you miss that beat 1, especially the first beat where you have your new chord, if you miss that one, everyone knows. So taking the time to make sure that you can get that chord perfectly on beat 1 with a downstroke and plan it ahead of time is the most important thing. So work on that first. Just work on getting your metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3. Switch now, C, 2, 3. Switch now, G, 2, 3, 4. I'm moving my fingers in the measure before I come to the new chord. That way, right on beat 1, I hit it. Okay, let's move on to our next exercise. We're going to double it up this time. This time we're going to play eighth notes. We're going to play twice as fast. A downstroke on the beat and an upstroke between the beats, in between each beat. We're going to count it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So with the metronome, it'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The metronome's still going to stay at 80. But with the extra strums between the beats, it feels like we're moving a lot faster. So let's play the C chord and try to hit the G chord exactly on beat 1 on the next measure. Let's see what happens. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, when you tried it this time, what happened for you? Was it even harder this time? Because now we have less time between the very last beat of beat 4 and where our new G chord comes in on beat 1. You have to get that chord on beat 1. Nothing else is more important. Remember, we're taking time away from the previous measure and we're thinking ahead to allow our fingers the time we need to get to beat 1 on time. So let's try exercise 3. We're going to double it up one more time. This time we're going to play 16th notes. And this should be very familiar to the exercises if anyone's gone back and done the funk rhythm guitar exercises from episode 28. It's very similar to this, but this time we're going to play the C chord 4 times in each beat. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, okay? That was a little slower. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So we're going downstroke on the beats. 1 and E is an upstroke and it's a downstroke and is an upstroke. So it's down, up, 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 down, up. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Let's try that with the metronome again. 1, 2, ready, go. So what happened this time when you switched to the G chord? You had even less time to move your fingers. So you needed to plan ahead. Try planning ahead and borrowing some time from the previous measure to get your fingers where they needed to be. Even if you have to miss that last 16th note, the beat 1 is much more important than that very last 16th note in the measure. Okay, in these 3 easy exercises, we've worked on some very basic but important foundational skills. We talked about strum patterns, timing, chords, and planning ahead. And that's the DNA of a great rhythm player. And it's a great way to start your journey into rhythm guitar. Before I go, I want to remind you about my free video lesson called Get Your Blues Soloing Under Control. It's the 6 steps I've found that will give you the right foundations for playing killer blues solos in no time at all. It's a lesson I put together for you guys after spending some time with some listeners, and I know it can really help take your soloing in a new direction. And the easy way to find it is go to freeblueslesson.com. And when you sign up there, you'll get information about all my podcast videos and other cool stuff, and it goes right to your inbox. So go ahead and check that out, freeblueslesson.com. Thanks for joining me today, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And a big thank you to my very first Patreon subscriber, Chris Ward. I had a great time bringing this to you today, and keep a lookout for part 3.